Good morning, everyone. It's Shelly from Art for My Table, and today we are going to cook a couple of awesome appetizers that would be great at holiday parties. So, as people are coming in, I would love to know, are you hosting any parties? If you are, give me a heart. And if you're attending any parties this holiday season, then give me a thumbs up. And if you're doing both, you can give me both a thumbs up and a heart. So your choice. Your choice. One, both, whatever. But I'd love to know what's going on in your holiday season. So these appetizers I'm going to make today, we're making a Parmesan cheese crisp, and then and we're going to top that with some sun-dried tomato and some basil and some balsamic reduction. And then we're also making an apple onion tart, which I don't know, maybe that sounds strange to you, but both of these appetizers I've made several times. The apple onion tart has been a huge hit at different events that I've been to. So they're both really good and super yummy. So before I get started, I just have to update my notifications here. So if you give me just a second, and I did see a couple thumbs up there, and I didn't see any hearts. So is nobody hosting anything? Or maybe you're still joining. A great way for you guys to make sure that you can find this video easily if you want to come back and watch the instructions again is just to go ahead and share it on your page. And then you'll easily be able to find it rather than surfing through everything on my page. So just going to add in our description here and send this out to the notifications, and then it'll be good to go. So while we're waiting, let me know what you're up to this weekend. Does anyone have any parties yet this weekend? It is kind of just the first day of December, so maybe not quite yet, but you'll be well prepared if you're watching this. So, all right, almost finished here. Hi, Carl. I don't dare call him like some, you know, that's my husband, so I don't dare say hi, sweetie, because I don't want to embarrass him, but he probably has it on mute anyways because he's probably at work. So where are you guys watching from? What's happening? Give me just a second here while I do this, and then we'll be ready to roll. You want to come and say hi, Joshua?
Sure.
He loves to be on, so
Hello.
you can say hi.
Hi.
There you go. Almost done here. Talk to me, friends. What are you doing this weekend? I know you can sit back and observe, but I can see that some people are watching, so. Are you all done with your homework or your math? My son is homeschooled, so.
I just finished my math. I didn't get that done this morning because I was making my plan.
Awesome. Okay, you guys, I'm almost done. I'm so sorry. It always takes me longer than I thought, but I really, really appreciate your patience. In the meantime, you can feel free to share this to your own page, and feel free to, that will just be easy to find it. If you know someone that might enjoy this, you could totally invite them. So,
I have no
hi
idea.
Camille, thank you.
Exercises. No Latin exercises this week.
All right. This is the last thing I'm doing, and then I'm going to start cooking. I really need an assistant. You guys know anyone? All right. Sometimes, you know, I think it's just going to be a second. Then my computer does something wonky. You know, does that ever happen to anyone? I'm sure I can't possibly be the only one. You guys are quiet today. Nobody's telling me what's up. Hi, Camille. How are you? Okay, I am ready to get started now. So sorry about that. Okay, so we're gonna start with our apple onion tart, and I have my oven preheated to 400. I have two different oven temperatures today, so try to keep them straight. So I have it preheated to 400, and I have some caramelized onions here that I started earlier. I'm just gonna get this. There we go. This is my little induction burner. This is great if you ever need, like, if you do lives like I do where you cook. It's a great extra thing so you don't have to move your camera all over to the stove. Or if you just are cooking a lot and you have extra people, you just plug this right in. So I have some caramelized onions here that I started earlier. And what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to slice up some apples, and then I'm going to add that to it. And we're just going to get them, you know, warmed up. We're not going to cook them down really far. I feel like my knife's really noisy today. It's like, maybe it's the way I'm hitting it. I don't know. That apple had a bad spot. I'm leaving that out. So, and usually this calls for about 2 onions and 2 apples, and I am going to slice up both these apples, but it kind of depends on the size of your apples too. So if you have really large ones, like there's the Crispins that I use, also known as Mutsus. I really like those, and I get those from the orchard, but they're just a larger apple. So, and you could do these in slices if you want to. That actually would be really pretty once you lay it out on your tart. But this one, I just do it in chunks because it's just easier to eat that way. And when you're doing an appetizer for guests and you're kind of, you know, walking around, and you want something that's kind of easy to eat. So, let's see, I'm going to throw these in here and get them started. All right. So I have a question for you guys. Do any of you do like holiday parties where you do a white elephant gift? Raise your hand. Give me a like if you do or if you have done. And here's what I'm asking. I want some ideas because a few years ago, some of my friends and I, we did just a fun little white elephant gift exchange, and it was just hysterical. We had so much fun. We did like a nice dinner, and then we just sort of did this, which was entertaining to say the least. And we haven't done it in a really long time. It's probably been, I don't even know how much time has gone by, but we're doing it again. So I need ideas. And I think white elephant, sometimes it's kind of has a different meaning to different people. Like it might be like a gag gift type thing. For some people, it's just maybe something around your house that you're not using. But either way, you know, it's not expensive. So if you have any ideas, put them in the comments and let me know. And I'm just getting these apples going. So after I cut my apple, I really think one is going to be enough for what I'm doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and just set the other one aside and just kind of saute these a little bit here. I'm going to add some salt and pepper. Now, if you'll, in the description of this video is the recipe, a link to the recipe that's on our site, which is Art for My Table. And so you can easily just click over and grab it there if you want to. You can print it out. So, but I heard my friend April from Mama Loves Food, she was saying, you know what, do what I do, follow the recipe on my site, and not necessarily what you're watching. And I thought, you know, it's kind of good advice, because sometimes when I'm cooking live, I might adapt something, and not even just for a live show, but sometimes just in general when I'm like, oh, I don't have time to do that step, or I'm gonna whatever. So I thought that was really good advice. So I will give the same advice to you guys. This is, you can go to the link and follow the instructions there for like the perfect result. Although I know this is gonna turn out really good. So, but sometimes I'll take a couple shortcuts. Like I didn't measure my salt and pepper right there. You know, I just kind of did it to taste. So, and these are coming up really nicely. So I'm gonna turn down the heat and let it continue to simmer, or saute, and then set that aside. We're gonna get out our puff pastry. So this is gonna be the bottom of our tart. And this is just a store-bought one. It's Pepperidge Farm. No, they're not sponsoring this video. But I do really like their philosophy and stuff. Just natural ingredients and no preservatives. So I do really like their stuff. So I'm going to use just one of these puff pastries. I'll have enough to make two, but for the purpose of time. So I have some, can you guys see this okay? I have some parchment paper down, and then I'm just going to spread out the puff pastry on it. This usually is frozen, so you want to get it out a little bit early and let it thaw, and then it'll be just perfect. You don't have to roll it out or anything. You can let it thaw overnight in your refrigerator if you want to, or I set mine on the counter earlier this morning. Give this a toss. Getting nice and brown. Turn that off. Okay. And you can use whatever kind of apples with this that you want. So I have a boatload of Crispins right now, Mutsu, because I use those to make applesauce. And guess who has not made applesauce yet? It's December 1st. And life has just gotten in the way. So, but we have been making a lot of dehydrated apples instead, which are also phenomenal. Okay, next step, we're going to put some sour cream on here. Now, if you want to, you can use yogurt. You know what? I'm going to just prick this crust really quick here. See, follow the instructions on our website. Just use a fork to do that. You want to do that first. Just got a little ahead of myself. There. You guys are making me nervous because you're so quiet. Come on, talk to me. What are you up to? Okay, so now I have some sour cream, and like I said, you can use yogurt if you want to. I sub out, I got nothing against sour cream, I actually love it. But oftentimes I will sub out plain, non-fat Greek yogurt for sour cream. So if you're looking for lower fat or higher protein content, I'm like big into anchoring my food with protein, my meal times. So if I can get extra protein in something, I'm always all for it. So I don't know why my comments are not showing up here. Hey Dennis. Aw, thanks Dennis. So spread that on. You want to leave like maybe a 1/2 inch border around it, because this is puff pastry, so it's gonna puff. And then after we do that, we're gonna go ahead and put our apple and onion mixture right on top. Yum, I love caramelized onions. And the secret to caramelized onions is low and slow, so just let them go, even like an hour. I put a little butter in the pan with my sliced up onions, and then just let it cook really nice and slow, and just keep stirring it. And then I try to keep my fingers out of it because it tastes so good. I'm actually not a fan of raw onions. I don't know, they're just too much bite for me. but I do love caramelized onions or just cooked onions in general. So we used to grill them like a whole onion. Oh, a little refreshing here. Okay. I always like to have my computer out so I can see a little bit. I can usually see that a little bit better when you're commenting to me, and then I don't miss it as much. But it seems to be freezing up on me. Maybe not freezing. There we go. Okay. So this is going to go in a 400-degree oven for about 30 minutes. And, you know, ovens vary, so keep that in mind. And I'm probably, you don't want to load it up too much, but I can't help it. It's like pizza. I know, like, one of the secrets to a great pizza is not to get too many toppings on it, because then your crust, like in the center, doesn't cook all the way through. But I can't help it. I just keep loading toppings on. Okay, so I'm going to throw this in the oven. So excuse me 1 second. We'll be right back. All right, and that is finished. So now we will start on our next one, and then I'll hopefully be able to show you that one at the end. If it's not totally done, it will be finished enough for you to view it. So, okay. Next up, we have Parmesan cheese crisps. So now I know they're actually like selling these now already done. Dennis worked at a pizzeria. Bake it till it's almost done before. Ooh, that's a great tip. You know what, Dennis? I pre-bake my crust a lot, and that's part of the reason. I usually pre-bake it like 10 minutes. I probably could even go a little bit longer. So I love that tip. So here we do Parmesan cheese crisps. All this is great. If you have any friends that are like gluten-free, okay, this does not work for the dairy-free friends, but it does work for the gluten-free friends, and you want like a cracker type thing, this is awesome. So it's all it is cheese, and then we're going to top it off. So I have Parmesan cheese, and I have my handy little rotary grater, which I really like. There's something about that, like up and down, I don't know, it's just kind of tiring after a while. So I did grate some already. Can you guys see this? I did grate some already, but just to show you how this works, I have a piece of Parmesan, and you can do Parmesan, there's the combination one, Reggiano, is that it? Anyways, you can, I like to use like a drier, sharper cheese, so we love Parmesan at our house. So you just stick that in there, like so, and then this closes over the top of it. And then when you hold it, you want to hold it with your thumb, and this is where you're going to give it just a little bit of pressure so that you're like pushing it into the grater that's on the inside of it. So can you guys see that? And then you'll just rotate this, and then that grates it. So it's like, you know, the fancy restaurant when they're like, would you like some fresh grated Parmesan? I never waited tables, but maybe I should. Maybe I should have. So see how easy this is? I love it. So you can just, and I'm just putting some pressure up here to get that cheese in there. And then, I won't do the whole thing, I just want to demonstrate for you. But to clean it out, it's pretty easy too. This all just comes apart. So you just take the winder off, take the grater off, and there it is. And then it's super easy to clean. We'll set that aside. Okay, so here we go with our Parmesan cheese crisps. I spilled a little cheese on here. Now, I recommend doing, it depends on the size, you can really adjust it, but I recommend doing about maybe 1.5 tablespoons or so. And all I'm going to do is put these little mounds of cheese on here. And if you want to like help yourself stay in the lines or whatever, I mean, there's no lines, but if you want like a guide, you could use like a round cookie cutter or a biscuit or something like that, and that will just kind of keep all your cheese together, and then just kind of take it off. But it's pretty simple. So just put them in there and kind of push it around, and you get a nice little mound of cheese. And then what we're going to do, we're just going to put these in the oven, and they only go maybe 5 minutes. I have my oven for these preheated at 375. So it doesn't need long, and you do want to kind of keep your eye on them. And then you take them off of the hot pan immediately. If you let them stay too long, they're going to be hard to get off because they'll stick a little bit. But they don't stick like burn stick, but they're kind of fragile right at first. But then I just set them on a plate for them to cool, and then they're just like crackers. They're so delicious. You can use them for like we are today, kind of like a cracker appetizer. We're going to top it with stuff. You could also use it like in soup. It would be amazing in like tomato soup or French onion soup if you wanted to eliminate that piece of bread. If you're like into low carb or cutting that kind of stuff out. You can put them on top of your salad. You could even make them smaller for that. So I used to make these, and then I think it was like last year I saw that Costco like sells them in a bag. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. So I always, like, homemade is always like my first choice, because I just think when things are made in your kitchen, there's so much pressure. But I can't say I haven't bought those from Costco, and they're great salad toppers too. Or just like, oftentimes I just crave something crunchy, and they're so good. They're crunchy and cheesy, and yum yum. So here's another question. Are you guys readers? Do you like to read, like fiction, non-fiction, cookbooks, anything? I am in a book club. It's totally like the highlight of my month, every month. I absolutely love it. The women friends that I meet with are just such a joy. So we had book club this week, and I'm always so impressed by the creativity of these women. They're just amazing. So we just finished reading Small Great Things, which is by Jodi Picoult. And I really like her as an author. She's not somebody where I can read all of her books right in a row. But have you ever read Jodi Picoult? Give me a heart if you have. Give me a thumbs up if you have not. But she typically writes about pretty controversial subjects. And she just has this way of really making you see the other side. So you might, it's typically a controversial subject, so typically you already have a stand on one side of the issue or the other. But after reading it, I always have a greater appreciation, and it just really opens up my eyes. She does a ton of research. So we read Small Great Things, which was about, you want to set those in? Lower oven, middle rack. We're going to put those in the oven for just about
Is this the middle?
5 minutes. Yeah, that's fine. About 5 minutes. We set the lower timer for 5 minutes. So, and while we're waiting for that, I'll tell you a little bit about this book. So, my computer keeps freezing. So anyways, it's about a African-American nurse that works in the labor and delivery and at a hospital, and she's super, really good. Just does her job really well, and she's worked there for 20 years. And then a couple comes in, and they have a baby, and she's caring for their baby, and they're like, we don't want her to care for our baby because she's black. So that immediately starts it. But then, you find out kind of the why this man of this couple is so adamant against it, and kind of what happened in his life. And that's not really even, there's so much more. There's a trial, there's all this stuff. So, and a big piece of it is, there's a moment where she is left with that baby, even though the hospital honored his request and said, you can't be with the baby. There was no other nurses on duty right after this baby had a circumcision, and something happened and the baby died. And so she was in the room with them. So now there's this, it was captivating. It was very good. So anyway, all that to say, what are you guys reading? Are you reading anything? Do you read? Do you like to read? Fiction, nonfiction? Tell me. It's one of my favorite things to do. I wish I had more time. So usually like during kind of the school year season, if you will, I can keep up with about my Bible study and the book of the month that we're reading. Not always too much extra time, but so fun, just a hobby that I enjoy. So we got together then, just a few more minutes on those, they're looking great. We got together then the other night for a book club, for a book discussion, and then the woman that hosted it, so because it was labor and delivery nurse, she had like a cake for us that was said the title of the book, Small Great Things, and it was written in like pink and blue. And then she was like, I wonder what kind of cake we have. It was very like baby showerish. It was so fun and so creative. So she did like a cake with like a double layer cake that was chocolate on the bottom and white on the top. Hello. So like I just never would have thought of that. It was so great. And then we had these, she made like a little drink for us, like white grape juice and 7-Up or something like that. Around here, I think they call it Dutch champagne, but because there's a lot of Dutch people that live around here by me, and I'm one of them. But she had made these ice cubes with a little baby in it, like a little plastic baby that's like this big. And so she put those like inside the ice cube and then froze them and then like put that in her drink, and then we had to like see like which baby's water broke. It was hysterical. We were just cracking up. So anyway, love book club. I wanted to tell you a little bit about my balsamic reduction while we're waiting for these. Actually, they just have like, hold on, I want to check on. They are ready. I'm going to take them out. Okay, so see these? They're really flat. They've just flattened out. Kind of look like a little cracker. And now I have to really gently transfer these to a plate so that they can cool. And then I'll get back to my balsamic reduction. Because balsamic reduction, I can't even say enough. I love balsamic reduction. It's so good on just about everything. Actually, as I was prepping for today's show, I was thinking, you know what? This would be great on the tart. These are really, they're still pretty hot, so I'm going to give them just another second to harden up a little bit. So balsamic reduction, I love it on salads, I love it on appetizers, it's good on meat, it's good on fruit, it's good on ice cream, it's good on Brussels sprouts, it's good on everything. But this is just a really simple reduction, and I want to show it to you, but without, pouring it in my hand, so you can see how dark, and when I pour it on, you'll be able to see how thick it is. But you just take balsamic vinegar and you reduce it by about half. So I do that by bringing it to a boil and then turning it down a little bit so that it's still bubbling, but it's not like a super rolling boil. And anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, it doesn't take that long. You kind of want it to just sort of coat the back of the spoon. And then I turn it off and I just let it set. And as it cools, it will thicken a little bit. So it'll start to get thicker, and then as it cools, it will thicken a little bit more, so that it's just perfect for drizzling. I don't know if you guys can you see that? There it is. So I'm just gonna set these right, I need my finger, on the plate here. And it's cheese, so it's a little bit oily. I don't want to burn myself on this pan. So you could put it on a paper towel if you wanted to, but I usually just put them on a plate. And it works out just fine. And these are great at You can leave these at room temperature for about 3 days. And I know you're probably like, what, cheese? But yes, cheese is fine at room temperature. So you can see, like, the longer that they sit there, they harden, and then I have to work a little bit harder to get them off. So it's just a timing thing. So I actually made my balsamic reduction yesterday. And every time I make it, I'm like, I should have made more. So that keeps really well too. And like I said, you can add it to so many different things. A couple weeks ago when I made so noisy. A couple weeks ago when I made the Brussels sprouts, and then I do a pomegranate reduction on that one. So for that I use my balsamic vinegar, and then I use 100% pomegranate juice as well, and then reduce that down. So it intensifies the flavor so much, so it's really bold. And I do add a little honey to it, or you can use white sugar, or you can use like a stevia-based sweetener if you want to. I use stevia-based sweeteners often. You could get me like a little white plate. A little white plate from the Hutch. Thanks. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So that had more of a sweet tart flavor to it as well, which was perfect on the Brussels sprouts. It just added so much. It was delicious. But I actually ate some on vanilla ice cream because, I don't know, ice cream. It just sounded so good. So, see if I can show these a little bit better. Okay. So these are cooling. I feel like that they'll show up a little better on this plate. I'll just do 3 for now. And then I'm going to add my sun-dried tomatoes are next. Okay. Perfect. So I'm just going to lay a sun-dried tomato on there. And fresh basil. Actually, what is my problem today? I'm totally getting ahead. I actually put the basil on first, but see, that's why I said follow the instructions on our site. So this is just fresh basil. Now this piece is like really big. Oh, it smells so good. I love it. So I might, if that's the case, I might tear it. Like, it's definitely much prettier if you don't, but put your basil on first, then put your sun-dried tomato on. I'm so sorry. I messed it up. I set it backwards. Okay. Isn't that pretty? It's so festive too. I just think it's really festive because the red and the green and the white, and it's so delicious. So I really wanted to top all of these off for you, and my plate's not big enough, so I'm just going to keep going and do that in a minute. So, oh, live. Isn't live TV so much fun? All right. A couple more basil leaves. I love growing basil in the summer and then like making fresh pesto and stuff and having it. Okay, look at this basil leaf. I just had to show. Look how big it is. It's like practically 2/3 of my face. It's big. I'm not going to use that one. It's too big. Smells amazing. All right. So, what do you guys think? Does this seem kind of easy enough? It's kind of a fun, festive appetizer. You can have it any time of the year, that's for sure, but I think just because of the colors, it's kind of Christmassy. So, now we'll put on the rest of our sun-dried tomatoes. And you could do, I love sun-dried tomatoes, and these are just the jarred kind. I buy them in bulk, because we love them. I buy them in a big jar from Costco, but you can get smaller jars. You can get them packed in oil. You can also get them not packed in oil, where they're actually like a little drier and crispier. And I would recommend if you go that route that you should probably reconstitute them, which usually just means putting them in some boiling water and letting them sit for a couple minutes. And then they'll like plump up and be soft and juicy again. So you could also do your own dried tomatoes if you use a Roma or a paste tomato, something that has a little bit less juice to it. And you can just slice those up and lay them out on a baking sheet. Put them in your oven, like maybe 200 for 3-4 hours. They taste so good. I actually love to do that even in the wintertime because I live in a climate where there's actually 4 seasons. And so I don't like the tomatoes. They just don't taste that great in the wintertime. Like once tomato season is over, it's just not the same because I know they're probably being picked green and shipped over, and so I don't have that luxury. But oftentimes if I just take the time to roast them, it just brings out that flavor and then they're really good again. Okay, so after we do that, we have our reduction. And I'm just going to, you can see kind of a little bit how thick it is now. Just going to drizzle a little bit of that on there. You guys see that? I need like a second camera overhead shot, so hopefully you can see that. Isn't that nice? Hi Marissa, thanks for joining us. You're not too late. How's it looking? I still have one more appetizer in the oven, Marissa, so you might want to see it. Ooh, that looks so yummy. Okay, so I'll just give these a little drizzle as well. And, you know I want to lick my finger right now, but I'm not going to, because that would be not sanitary. Right? Okay. So there's the rest of those. They're beautiful. I'm going to pull out my onion tart now so you can see that. Here's this. I'm not sure where I can set it where you can really see it, but let's take a look at this. Oh, baby. Beautiful. Okay, so see how it's all like yummy and puffy? So good. I'm going to just plop this right down on my cutting board. Okay, maybe not. There we go. All right. And then just gonna cut it up. I usually do it in thirds and thirds, so you'll get about 9 squares with this. So, oh good, Marissa loves appetizers. Me too. Do you guys ever just like have a meal of appetizers? Sometimes we do that Sunday nights with, okay, we do it every Sunday night, but sometimes we change the appetizers. Usually we don't. So we do like a little family meeting with our kids every Sunday night, and we have popcorn and apples. And then if there's anything else I have that I can dig around in the fridge, I'll get it out. And then sometimes I'll do like a bean dip or something a little more, but like, And so we eat good because we eat appetizers, popcorn, apples, and whatever. And then the kids all go to their rooms and have some downtime, some bedroom time. And my husband and I, we have our in date. So every week we still have a date. We don't get to go out every week, but we do get to go in every week. And so then we'll like make steak and sweet potatoes, or sometimes we just get Chinese takeout or whatever. So yeah, it's really nice. So I always say I'm not going to eat the appetizers because I'm going to eat the real dinner, but I always end up eating them both. So yeah. Oh good, Pauline, I'm so glad you're going to make it. But Pauline, which one are you referring to? Because I didn't see your comment till now, so I don't know if it's the cheese crisps or the onion tart, but You will not be disappointed either way. And it's hot. This is linked in the description of the video, and I actually have a video, so there's a recipe and instructions on how to make this. There's also a video on how to make this. You know, overhead, what everyone likes to call tasty style. So that's a good thing for you to maybe bookmark also. And there it is. I'm supposed to go out to lunch with my friend today, but see, I'm going to eat the appetizers, then I'm going to go eat the lunch. Oh, the onion tart, yes, yes. So, what do you guys think? Can you see it? It's so like nice and flaky. I totally want to bite into this right now, but it's still pretty hot. I'm afraid I don't want to burn myself. So good. Love, love, love. Okay. You guys have any questions? Both of these are on my site, artfrommytable.com. If you want to reference back to this video, share it to your wall. Yes, the links are on it. The cheese grater, I did a link to, I put it in the site. I did a link to the cheese grater too if you're interested in that. And that is an Amazon affiliate. I am an affiliate with Amazon, so all that means is at no extra cost to you. If you happen to buy something through one of the links that I refer you to Amazon, they're going to give me like 50 cents, sometimes 20 cents. But it really helps my coffee habit, so thank you if you ever order anything on Amazon through one of my links. It doesn't even have to be what the link is, which is kind of interesting. It's just that little referral. So anyway, if you guys don't have any questions, I will hop off. If you're catching this on the replay, feel free to leave any comments in there, and I will most definitely bounce back and answer any questions or reply to any comments that are on there. So, but thank you so much for joining. Oh, thank you, Connie. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. You have a great day, too. I will be back next week, Friday, at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, one last thing I forgot to mention. If you guys want to get a weekly newsletter that has new recipes and kitchen tips in it, there also is a link in the description of this video, above or below, wherever it might be when you're looking. Thank you so much, you guys, for the hearts. So you can click on that link and you can sign up, and then every Thursday around 10 o'clock you will get a newsletter from me that has the latest recipes, and it has kitchen tips, and it has a meal plan if you're interested in that, and just fun things. So thank you so much. You guys have an awesome weekend, and I will see you next week.